Hello, everyone. I'm sure you've already watched the verdict of Derek Chauvin. And what I want to say about that is we can't stop, praying. We can't stop making sure that justice is served. And another thing is, I thought about is Derek Chauvin, when he had his knee on Mr. George Floyd's neck, he was willing to risk it all because he was warned. And he was told to get his knee off his neck, to get up, to stop, but he continued on. So he made up in his mind that he was willing to risk it all. And so when you're willing to risk it all, that means that you're willing to risk everything, including your livelihood, including being away from your family, including maybe never seeing, outside of a jail cell unless you go outside, and it's organized and monitored, if they let you outside. So he was willing to risk it all. And that's what that means. And so with him being, willing to risk it all and thinking that maybe he thought he had privilege, maybe he thought he wasn't going to be punished because he may have done some things already, that were questionable in his line of work, but he was willing to risk it all. And that came to me in my spirit that when you are willing to risk it all, you are willing to stand up for whatever you have done, to accept your punishment. And the look on his face when the verdicts were read, he didn't show any emotion. He didn't show any remorse because he was willing to risk it all. And whatever deep seated anger and hate that he has in his heart, and maybe not just for Mr. George Floyd, but maybe he has deep seated anger and hate for a multitude of people. And whatever he might have suffered in his life, trauma, and I'm not saying he has because I don't know that, but he might have, that he's never got the help and he takes it out on other people. In no way should he have ever been a police officer or police detective. Um, because when you are in that position to serve, you serve with love, you serve with compassion, and you always remember humanity when dealing with people and the public, and he chose not to. Again, he was willing to risk it all. And so, therefore, his willing to risk it all in the choice and decision that he made that day means that he's willing to risk giving up freedom. And another thing that hurt me when listening to the verdict and watching it was he did this not just in front of people, adults that were out there, but he did it in front of children. Children overheard what happened, and we have to protect our children. And I'm sure the 9-year-old will never forget that day. She will never forget that there are people in this world that are just that cruel and are willing to risk it all. Not for the sake of good, but Derek Chauvin was willing to risk it all for the sake of evilness, for the sake of hate, for the sake of, a lack of a better word, lack of humanity, and for the sake of not recognizing the not recognizing that what he did in front of all those people will leave a mark, a stain that you can never take away. And when people say I can do what I want to do as long as I don't hurt nobody. But Derek Chauvin, not only did you take a man's life, but you hurt a lot of people. And you hurt children that have to grow up knowing and facing another day, hoping that they don't lose a loved one at the hands of criminal behavior, at the hands of murder. And I am pretty sure that a lot of people that watched that were present in the moment, have had to get some type of counseling. And it's not over. Because if his attorneys appeal, it's not over. We will have to go through it again watching it. It's not over. And as people of color, it seems that it will never be over. And it is a sad day in America for us to continue to fight for our basic humanity rights, to be able to get justice. But I have to always wake up each day and know that we serve a mighty God, an awesome God. And when I lay down at night, I know that God's got me and protect me because my hope is in him. It's not in man and it's not in stuff. My hope is in him. And each day I wake up, I got to remember that my hope is in Jesus Christ and it's not in man. Because if it was in man, I would have went away a long time ago. I wouldn't have made it. But because my hope is in Jesus Christ, I can keep waking up and facing tomorrow. I can face another day because my hope is in Jesus Christ. And I continue to lift up Mr. Floyd's family, that they will eventually get a peace of mind, a peace that surpasses all understanding, and that they will be healed to a place that they can look back. Because see, only God can do the healing. Only God can do it. And my prayers are for that family and for his children and his friends, because Mr. Floyd's life can never be restored by what Mr. Chauvin did. And we see this play out day in and day out with senseless killings. And it's not just about racism. It's about hate in the hearts of these people. And if you can hate that much, the only way that your heart can be changed is a willingness to allow God to enter into your heart for you to be changed. Because man, boy, and girl and woman cannot change a person that has hate in their heart. Only God can. And for Mr. Chauvin, I pray that you will find peace. I pray that God will somehow, you will find the spirit to seek God and to ask for forgiveness, because you chose to risk it all. And it was for a bad cause. It wasn't for a good cause. It wasn't for love. It wasn't for good. It wasn't for hope. You tried to take away hope. You tried to instill fear in people. But God, but God, but God. And as we continue to move forward, Mr. Chauvin, you will have to give an account like the rest of us. But you know what? You deserve to get what God has coming to you. That's what I can say, because I can't do it, but God can. I don't wish no bad on you at all. Matter of fact, it's a sad day. It's a sad day to know. And when it happened, and I watched that video, it was a sad day. to know that there are people in this world that have that much hate in their heart and they lack mercy. And God says that we're supposed to have mercy on others, grace and love, and to show peace, speak peace through our lips. And you failed to do those things. You failed to do those things. But again, you was willing to risk it all